is my daughter.
How are you?
Nice to
So
meet
nice
you.
to see you.
Same here.
How are you? Yeah, Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. I'm well.
I'm just sitting for down.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so what a small world.
How old are you? Hey, you're getting old. Oh, I'd like to. Anybody want to cook while we're waiting here?
This right now is the really crucial period for Joe Biden. I think more than any of the other candidates, he needs to come out strong out of the gate, because there have been so many people whispering, including the other candidates, that his best day is going to be the day that he announces, and it's all going to be a downhill slide from there as more and more voters hear things that disenchant them or convince them that he's not the person that he thought that they were. And so he's got to show energy. Because the president's calling him Sleepy Joe, because he's older and has to prove that he's still got what it takes to be out there on the trail, because he starts out as the front runner and has to keep that momentum, and because he's got to build grassroots enthusiasm. This guy who's doing the high dollar fundraising that the other candidates aren't.
Let's listen as he goes in here.
It's real early. I tell you what, the issue is going to be who, not only who can win this, but who's the best person to lead the country. And that's what it's going to be all about. And it's going to be for the voters to decide that.
Mr. Vice President, there was some suspense in your decision. Obviously, it took a couple months maybe to get there. Is this about your view that there are not the other 20 or so Democrats in the race don't have what it takes to beat Donald Trump?
No. It's about what I told you, I think, a long time ago, that it's a long campaign. Starting campaigns back in January and February, kind of early, in my view. And look, we're putting together, I think, a pretty good staff and capability and websites. Hey, man, how you doing? How you doing, man? And I'm going to go get some pizza.
All right, we'll see you inside, sir.
How are you?
I'm Valerie. How are you doing?
Signs. How are you doing? Are you excited about your brother's
Oh,
run?
yeah. Oh, God. What did you say? As a what?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. What did you say? Am I excited?
Are you excited about your brother's run?
Oh, yes. God.
And you've been running a lot of his campaigns.
I ran every one of his campaigns, and this time I am not going to be in the office and run it and worry about everything else. I'm going to be out with him and be in the public, which is what I like to do.
Do you think that he's going to fare better this time around than the past two campaigns?
Well, then that would yes, of course he is. Of course he is. He's going to he is going to do that for sure. But that's not the direct parallels because I'm not in Bean's campaign manager. Yeah, I was teasing you about when you said that. Hello, Jack.
So we're going to head inside, guys.
Okay, so that's the wonders of live television there. We have two cameras there and two microphones. You were listening to the Vice President's sister talking to our Arlette Saenz. She has been very active in all of his past campaigns. They were talking on the outside as you watch the Vice President. This is Gianni's Pizza in Wilmington, Delaware. Joe Biden walking around Wilmington is like Bill Clinton walking around Little Rock. He tends to know just about everybody because of his familiarity. He's served there so long. So he's shaking some hands here.
Do you want to go behind the camera?
And we're watching him at home in Wilmington. Let's listen for a sec.
Joe 2020. Well, it's not going to stop me from coming, guys. You know what I mean? You guys want to do a picture?
My name is Johnny.
Mozzarella cheese on the top of that pizza if my eyesight is working today. And I think he said it's not going to stop him from cutting it up and eating it. We're watching this, and some viewers might be saying, why are you staying with these pictures? This is Wilmington, Delaware, where Joe Biden is very popular. This is about to be his test when he's in Des Moines and Cedar Rapids and Waterloo and Manchester and Nashua and so on, is that, A, the stamina. Does he have the stamina and the rigors of the campaign? And B, when you're in these settings where you're asked anything by voters, can he stick to the disciplined script, which has been an issue for him in the past?
Well, voters one of the things that Biden supporters will say is that his authenticity, his charm work to his advantage. This type of environment right now where he's going around shaking hands, showing people his personality is something that they think that he could succeed with, particularly in a retail politic state like New Hampshire, perhaps Iowa. But the question is when he gets into the town hall formats, is asked specific questions about the issues, how does he respond? Does he connect to voters at that point? That's a separate test.
This is Biden's strength, actually. Glad-handing, kind of just having this sort of casual conversation. He's done this literally for decades. He's quite good at it. And to your point about stamina, one of the things that I'm told from some of his advisors is he is aware that this is going to be a question. He actually had that question about himself, and so that is part of why he used a very aggressive strategy during the 2018 midterms.
to be the
Let's
president of the United
listen.
States.
He's being asked about President Trump. Tweet.
Everybody knows Donald Trump.
What about the Mueller report, Mr. Vice President? Do you believe that there's...
Look, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about all this thing.
That's right.
And I'll be available to you, but I'm just coming home to get some pizza before I head up to Philly later. And diet from now.
You want the pizza here or you want to go?
To go.
To go? We got it. No problem.
Buy them any pizza they want on me. You know what I mean?
On you?
On me.
They're gonna pay.
Mr. Vice
They have
President,
to
do you
pay.
think you can win the money
They need
raiser
to raise
in
money.
Philadelphia?
Okay, guys, let's go. Come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Vice President,
Guys,
what
come on. You guys, come on. Let's go. Let's
Test
go.
for the former vice president and for his staff on day one, first couple hours of the presidential campaign,
Vice
trying
President, what about the
to
Mueller
shepherd the
report?
reporters out of the room there. Joe Biden not in a mood. That's a choice. That's a choice. He was asked about the president's tweet this morning. President Trump calling him Sleepy Joe. President Trump questioning whether he has the intelligence to mount a successful presidential campaign. For many politicians, you tee that up, they want to answer. He just said, I just want you to know it's Donald Trump deciding on this day to take a pass.
I think if you're his advisors, you like Joe Biden in that setting. His video is the thing that's largely speaking for him today, which is a scripted element and not Joe Biden sort of veering off.
Okay, sorry there. This is classic Joe Biden. I mean, the plan was for us to have a chance to maybe chat with him as he stops for lunch here. It expanded to a walk down the street, aviators and all. We're going to head actually into this pizzeria here, and watch a little bit more of Joe Biden as he interacts with voters. This is his, informally his first public event as a candidate. Thanks. Well, it's nice to finally meet you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
You still playing this thing?
Saxophone guitar, yeah.
My dad played the sax and the clarinet. He used to look at me and he said, Joey, I don't know where you came from, man. He said, you have no lip. He said, you have two left feet and you can't carry a tune in a wheelbarrow.
Sure.
But I love you anyway.
Yeah. Good for you.
Good luck. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you too.
Thanks, man.
Hey, how are you?
What's your name?
Colin.
Hey, guys.
We're behind the counter.
We have made a pizza for you. Look.
Oh,
Joe 2020.
Joe 2020.
Camino.
Well, it's not going to stop me from keep coming, guys. You know what I mean? You guys want to do a picture?
My name is Johnny.
I know, Johnny. You're
Long time I don't see
you're
you.
the boss man.
Kind of.
Yeah.
She's the boss man. I work for her. I work for her.
What's your name?
Amalia.
Amalia.
I've been married to him for too long.
Well, I tell you what, we Catholics say no purgatory for you, straight to heaven, kid, just like my wife. Hey, guys. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
How are you doing?
Juliana?
Hi, Julie.
That's my daughter.
How are you?
Nice
So
to meet
nice
you.
to see you.
Same here.
How are you? Yeah, Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. I'm well. I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
So what a small world.
How old are you? Hey, you're getting old. Well, I'd like to. Anybody want to cook while we're waiting here?
I do.
Sure. Would you guys like to eat something? It's on the house.
No.
That's for today.
No, we're not doing it. But I tell you what, could I like to order a pepperoni pizza to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'd like to. You don't want pepperoni and everything?
No, that's all right. I
Like a soda right now?
I would. I
Yeah.
like
Sure. What kind would you like? Coke? Pepsi's good?
Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Yes.
That's all we have. We have Pepsi.
I'll tell you what, my daughter works for Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
That's why she always asks for Coke. I'm joking. Yes, we'd love it. I like a Pepsi too. Diet Coke for Mouse.
Diet Pepsi. Yeah. Diet Pepsi.
Mr. Vice President, do you have a message for President Trump? He welcomed you in the race, question whether you have the intelligence to be the President of the United States.
Everybody knows Donald Trump.
What about the Mueller report, Mr. Vice President? Do you believe that there's...
Look, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about all this thing.
That's right.
And I'll be available to you. But I'm just coming home to get some pizza before I head up to Philly later, and a diet from Mount.
You want the pizza here or you want to go?
To go.
go?
We got some folks back.
No problem.
And besides, and buy them any pizza they want on me. You know what I mean?
On you? No.
On me.
They're going to pay. They have to pay.
You can win the money
You need
raiser
to raise money from the
Okay, guys,
election.
let's go. Come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Vice
Guys,
President, what
come
about...
on. You guys, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys.
Mr. Vice President, what about the Mueller report
Come on, you
and the
guys.
question of impeachment? Obviously, you want to beat him at the ballot box.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
Sorry.
Sorry. Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's
We were talking earlier, a moment ago, about identity politics. I actually think it's important to pull back and recognize that there is a majority of the American population who is extremely upset with what's been going on for years now with the Trump administration. And so I don't think the question for 2020 is, do we need a woman or a gay man, or is it okay to have a white man? I think the larger question is, there is a majority of American voters who feel disrespected and very concerned about the direction of the country. And they feel threatened by this president, by the administration's policies. Now, which of the 2020 candidates on the Democratic side can actually appeal to that and give these voters a voice? And I think that's why last night's forum, again, was so really interesting, because the key is that these voters want to hear, black women especially, they want to hear that people have empathy.
Mara, just hang on with me for a second, because Joe Biden has now come out and is again being asked questions.
This Bergen, you're going to go on these shows, and you're going to hear a lot about it.
Mr. Biden, do you have a message for the rest of the world?
Yes, America's coming back like we used to be, ethical, straight, telling the truth, moving in a way, supporting our allies. All those good things.
Hey guys,
anyway, I gotta go.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Hey man, how you doing? Good to see you.
President Joe. How do you?
Hey Mouse, where'd you go? Hey Mouse, I'll catch you later, bud. Well, this is the president of NAACP in Delaware. My buddy, or used to be one of my great friends. Back in the Price is Run pool days.
Bye, Mom.
How does your family feel about it? Everything's a family decision.
It is. Everybody's for it.
How do you feel to deal where Bernie Sanders is the front runner right now?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
God, I love you. How are you?
We love you. We love you.
This doesn't hurt your reputation.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Congratulations.
Great to see you.
And don't stop
Hey, tell the general I said hello.
Certainly will, sir. Thank you.
By the way, he was so good to my boat.
We love Bo.
We love Bo.
And we love him too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See you guys.
Joe Biden, with a reference, of course, to his late son, Beau Biden, who died of brain cancer. And that, of course, was the compelling narrative of his family's decision not to run last time around. Kelly O'Donnell, and I'm sorry that Kelly isn't there, because I wanted to congratulate Kelly on 25 years with NBC News, and I know she had to run to another assignment at the White House. But Chris Matthews, you and I have both worked with Kelly all these years and know her coverage of Joe Biden and all of the others on Capitol Hill was stellar. As Joe Biden is still talking, I think through a closed window.
That will be the story for 2 years.
Is that going to be the story of the campaign, Chris Matthews?
Yeah, I think that Kelly is great, because Kelly has this upbeat personality, even though, unless the story is truly tragic, she has a smile on her face. And she's truly an old-style, straight reporter, no politics from her at all.